Hello there everyone, my name is Buckshot Bucky and today we're going to do something a little different. Today we're going to be taking a look at this game here, From Space. It's a game that's on the Xbox Game Pass and I downloaded it and gave it a try because it looked fairly interesting and it turned out it was actually a pretty enjoyable game. So we're going to take a look at some gameplay here. Now, at first, my impression of this game was a bit mixed. It seemed a bit arcadey, a little childish, and maybe not down my particular street when it comes to games. However, I was pleasantly surprised with both the art style, the use of color, and the graphics in general. Now, it doesn't exactly transfer over to YouTube because the upload compression and it looks a lot better on my screen than it does looking at it in my editor or on YouTube. However, on my screen it looks incredible. Everything's very sharp, everything's got wonderful color to it, and the sound design is passable, I would say. The gameplay is quite fun. I haven't had a chance to play co-op with friends, however, I do plan to try to put that together, and when I do plan on making another video to give you my impression of the game once it is played in a style of co-op. Now, this game is odd to say the least. It is fun. I will say that it is quite fun. But the UI is a little odd and a little difficult to get used to compared to other games that I've played that are kind of like a top-down shooter. For instance, one of the things that I think of when I play this game is actually Diablo. The last Diablo I played was Diablo 3, so it gives me a hint of what that game is like, but it is also definitely its own game, and I will say it is fun, even when you're running around gunning stuff down by yourself. As I said, the art design is very good. The elements in each level or each area is very well put together. I really enjoy the lighting. All the light and all the color is very enjoyable to be looking at while you're playing the game and running around. The game isn't incredibly difficult, so I don't feel like there's a sharp learning curve for individuals that have difficulty with harder style games. There are several different types of enemies. I haven't gotten super far in the game, so I imagine there's probably more than I've encountered, which probably will make the game more interesting. But from what I can tell, the enemies are not super dynamic, so there's not a huge problem dealing with them. I have not had a chance to play the Horde mode, which seems pretty interesting. I've always enjoyed Horde modes when it comes to just about any game that has that mode available. For instance, State of Decay 2 or World War Z. Those games have pretty decent horde modes that I've always enjoyed playing. And I know that there's other ones that I just, for whatever reason, I can't think of right now. It's early in the morning. I've barely had any coffee, so I apologize, but that's all I can think of at the moment as far as games with horde mode. I will probably play that and give you a review on that, but I am trying to shell out a video before the YouTube algorithm decides to bury me and my content. I get the impression that whoever created this game has some kind of strange love for 80s horror movies or some such. I don't know this. I haven't done any research about that. That's just the impression I get. As far as the game is concerned, and the AI when you gain followers, that is pretty bad. I don't know how they might fix that, or if they would fix that, but I found that a lot of the times when you get a follower, some kind of AI companion that follows you around and shoots at enemies, it's not good at all. Most of the time they seem to get in my way more than help, especially when I'm not actually shooting at enemies or engaging with enemies, excuse me. When I'm trying to interact with things in the safe area, they just get in the way of me interacting with stuff, so just be aware of that. You could always tell them to wait where they are at the corner of somewhere where there is nothing to interact with. That's always an option, but then you're, I don't know, doubling your work. You're actually interacting with stuff when you don't have to. Anyway, it's just something that I noticed when I'm playing the game. As far as the missions are concerned, they are, from what I could tell, I mean, I've played the game for maybe 2 hours. I think maybe 2 hours at most. And from what I can tell, the missions are probably going to get repetitive. It's sort of one of those things where you clear a path to an area of enemies, get to that said area, interact with something in that area or several things in that area to trigger some kind of either boss fight or horde type interaction where several waves of enemies come towards you and you fight those enemies off. That's it. Interact with an individual or an item again, and that's it. Go back to whoever gave you the mission, get your reward, and move on to the next area. I know a lot of games have this style of mission interaction. It was just something that I was noticing and I thought I would bring to your attention. I don't necessarily think it's a bad thing, but it's also not innovative either. It's not going to make you say to yourself, man, this game is unique, it's incredible. But it also doesn't make it a bad game. As far as the elements in each map and directing you, at times you can feel a little lost. There's so much clutter in each map. I think that's intentional. I think it's supposed to feel like it's a post-apocalyptic type of time or dimension, whatever you want to call it. So I'm not throwing any hate around when it comes to that. You could see probably from some of these clips several areas where it points out safe areas, or the color when you're coming up on an area kind of indicates that enemies are going to be coming up, so no problem there. And some areas do feel as though they are a former war zone, which I kind of like. It lends itself to having some kind of history to it that you have no prior knowledge of, and you probably will not learn anything about in the future. Interactions with NPCs are okay. I do sort of wish that there was some kind of voice acting for every character that you interact with, but it's a cheap game that is free to play on Game Pass, so I don't imagine there was a huge budget for it. The guns are okay. They're fairly satisfying to use. I do really like using the shotgun. I mean, my name is Buckshot, so anyway. That's pretty fun to use. The assault rifle is also pretty fun. Other than that, I haven't had a chance to use every gun in the game. Again, I'm probably going to play this game in the future, hopefully with some friends of mine, and see how co-op is, how the sharing of resources is, and what they feel like the UI is like for them. I know for people, playing games can be subjective, so I do encourage you to pick up the game, download it, play it for a little bit, see what you think. If you don't like it, you could always uninstall it. No big deal. What, you wasted an hour or two of your time. But if you had a good time playing it, you played with friends, it was enjoyable, then, you know, what's the harm? Now, I will say, I did not look in the store to see how much this game was without Game Pass. And to be honest, I don't think I'd be interested in buying a game like this if it wasn't on Game Pass. It's free to me. Technically not free, I guess, since I'm paying for Game Pass. Anyway, not the point. It's there. I downloaded it. I tried it. I enjoyed it, and I still do enjoy it. I do find myself picking up the game once a day just to run around and shoot colorful aliens. Again, it's not going to be for everyone, and if you don't like it, hey, that's fine. You go play something else. I don't care, but I will say I had fun playing it. It's interesting enough to keep my attention for an hour or two at a time. From what I could tell, it's fairly new, so there's a chance for updates and for DLC to make the game more interesting in the future. Just something to keep in mind. Well, that's about all the time that I'm willing to spend talking about this game for this particular video. Again, I'm going to get together with friends, see what co-op is like, and then, you know, I'll probably make another video giving you my impression of what the game is like with actual intelligent players. However, for me and this particular video, that's it. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this content, consider subscribing, leave a like, hit the notification bell for more content like this and different games reviewed in the future. Please leave any comments down below, including if you played this game, how you enjoyed it, what you thought of it, if you thought I was an idiot for reviewing this game. Anyway, I'm Buckshot Bucky. Thanks for joining me, and I'll see you in the next video.